Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. Chapter 1. Strange things were happening at the Paris Opera House that season. There were rumors about a ghost in the building. No one knew when the rumors had started. Some people said it was Joseph Bouquet who began it all. Joseph Bouquet was one of the scene shifters, a quiet, reliable man. He said that he had seen a frightening figure in the corridors of the building. He said the figure was wearing a dress suit. At first, he thought the man was just one of the audience. Then he looked again. He saw that the figure had no face. It was a skull. The skin was yellow, the eyes were black holes, and the whole figure was terribly thin. Soon, everyone at the opera began to see strange things. One of the firemen, Pimpin, said that he had gone down into the cellars of the building. When he was down there, he had seen a head of fire coming towards him. He was very clear about it. He had seen a head of fire, but the head had no body at all. The people who worked at the opera house were disturbed and excited by all these stories. The young girls in the corps de ballet were particularly thrilled by the stories. They said the ghost was responsible for all the little accidents that happened at the opera house. One evening, one of the opera's principal dancers, La Sorelli, was sitting in her dressing room. It was an important evening for her. She was going to perform at a special gala performance for the two managers who were retiring. The peace and quiet of the dressing room was suddenly disturbed by the entry of a group of young girls from the corps de ballet. The girls were talking excitedly.
"We've seen him! We've seen him!"
one of them announced.
"We've seen the ghost!"
Sorelli did not really believe the girls, but she was very superstitious. She was easily frightened by stories of the ghost, but she tried to be brave.
"Pull yourselves together,"
she told the girls.
"But we've seen him! We've really seen him!"
one of the girls insisted.
"And Gabrielle's seen him too,"
the girl added.
"Gabrielle, the chorus master?"
asked Sorelli.
"What did he say?" "He said he was talking to that strange Persian man. You know the one?" "Yes,"
said Sorelli.
"I know the Persian."
Everyone at the opera house knew the Persian. The girls were convinced that he had the evil eye. They were frightened of him.
"So what happened?"
Sorelli asked.
"Gabrielle was talking to the Persian. He looked over the Persian's shoulder and he saw the ghost standing behind him. Gabrielle was terrified." "What did the ghost look like?"
Sorelli wanted to know.
"He was wearing a dress suit, just as Joseph Bouquet described him. And his head was like a skull,"
one of the girls said.
"My mother says Joseph Bouquet shouldn't talk so much,"
one of the girls said quietly. It was Meg, whose mother, Madame Giry, also worked at the opera. She was a box keeper.
What did your mother tell you?"
the girls asked Meg.
"She said the ghost doesn't like people to talk about him,"
Meg replied slowly.
She says it's because of Box 5. Mum's in charge of Box 5, you see. Box 5 is the ghost's box,
she told them.
That's where he goes during performances. No one else can go there.
Has your mother seen him then?
The girls asked.
No,
Meg explained.
you can't see him. All that talk about his dress suit and the skeleton and the head of fire is all just nonsense. Mother's never seen him. She just hears him when he's in the box.
The girls looked at each other. They could not make sense of Meg's story at all.
That's what I meant about Joseph Buquet.
Meg told them.
He shouldn't tell all those stories. The ghost won't like it at all. He might.
Suddenly, the dressing room door opened and a woman came in. Her eyes were wide open and she looked really frightened.
Joseph Buquet!
She gasped.
He's dead. Someone found his body in the cellar. He was hanging.
Chapter 2. The gala performance for the two managers continued. Everyone in the audience was pleased with the music and the singing. One of the singers in particular gave great pleasure. This was Christine Day. She was new to the opera and she had not sung many important roles before. She was not one of the best singers at the opera house. That night, however, she sang some short pieces from the famous operas Romeo and Juliet and Faust. Her voice was strong and pure. No one had heard anything like it before. They were astonished by the beauty of her voice. There was one man in the audience who listened to Christine Day with special intensity. This was the young Vicomte de Chagny, Raoul. He had come to the performance with his older brother, the Comte de Chagny, Philippe.
She never sang like that before,
Raoul said quietly to his brother.
but she looks so ill.
Raoul went backstage after the performance. He made his way to Christine Day's dressing room. He knocked and entered the room. The singer looked at him with a strange expression on her face. She did not look well.
Monsieur,
She said very quietly.
who are you?
Raoul went over to the singer's sofa and kissed her hand.
I am the little boy who went into the sea for your scarf,
He said softly. Christine began to laugh at his words. Raoul became red with anger and stood up.
I can see that you do not want to remember me,
He said coldly.
but I have something important to tell you. Very important.
Please come back when I am better.
Christine said. Raoul walked out of the dressing room. He stood for a few moments in the corridor outside. He was in love, and he did not know what to do. He approached the door once again. He was about to knock on it when he heard a man's voice in the room.
You must love me, Christine.
The voice said.
How can you say that?
Christine's voice replied.
I only sing for you. You know that.
Are you tired?
The man asked her tenderly.
I gave you my soul tonight.
Christine said.
I'm very tired now.
It was beautiful.
The man's voice said.
The angels wept to hear you sing this evening.
Raoul moved away from the door. he was suffering very badly. Suddenly, he decided that he wanted to see the man that Christine loved. He waited in the corridor. After a few minutes, the singer came out of the dressing room. The corridor was dark, and she did not see him. Raoul pushed open the door and looked inside. The room was empty. Monsieur Debienne and Monsieur Poligny were the two managers who were retiring from the opera. They had attended the gala performance, and they were now having dinner with some of the staff. The room was a large one, and there were many people around the table. The conversation was lively and joyful. Suddenly, people at the table began to whisper excitedly to each other and to point at a strange figure who was standing at one end of the table. He was wearing a dress suit, and his face was yellow and thin. It looked like a skull.
The opera ghost,
people were whispering to each other.
It's the Phantom of the Opera.
The strange figure took no notice of the remarks that people were making. After a few minutes, he looked up.
The ballet girls are right.
He announced loudly.
The death of poor Bouquet was not suicide.
Debienne and Poligny were shocked. They had not heard of the scene shifter's death. They looked at the strange man, and then they stood up hurriedly. They made a quick sign to the two new managers to join them, and then they left the room. Soon, Debienne and Poligny were sitting in their office talking to the new managers, Monsieur Richard and Monsieur Moncharmin.
we've given you all the help we can, gentlemen.
Monsieur Debienne said to the new managers.
There is just one final thing you need to know about the opera. It's the question of the ghost.
Monsieur Richard smiled. He did not believe in the stories about the ghost, and he thought Monsieur Debienne was joking.
What does the ghost want?
He joked.
It's simple, really.
Monsieur Poligny replied. He showed the two new managers a document.
It's all written down here.
Monsieur Richard looked at the document. It was the lease for the opera house. He passed it to Monsieur Moncharmin, and they read it together.
The managers of the opera must pay the opera ghost 20,000 francs a month, 240,000 francs a year. They must also keep Box 5 available for him for every performance.
That's why we're leaving.
Monsieur Debienne explained.
We can't bear the ghost.
That's right.
Monsieur Poligny agreed.
It's hard enough managing the opera, but it's impossible with the ghost here.
The new managers were convinced that all the talk of the ghost was simply a joke. They smiled politely. They were soon very busy with their new responsibilities, and they forgot about the ghost. A few days later, they received a very surprising letter in the post. The handwriting was childlike, and the letter was written in red ink.
You have not kept Box 5 for me, as we agreed. If you want to live in peace, you must give me back my box. Opera Ghost.
The next day, the managers received another letter from the ghost. There was the same childlike handwriting and the same red ink. This time, he demanded his monthly payment of 20,000 francs.
It's just Debienne and Poligny.
Monsieur Richard told his colleague.
They've started this stupid joke about the ghost, and they're continuing with it. We'll ignore it, that's all.
The two managers decided to sell Box 5. Chapter 3. The next event occurred a few days after the new managers received the ghost's second letter. The members of the audience sitting in Box 5 began laughing and shouting during the performance. The managers sent a guard to find out what was happening. He went to Box 5 and asked the people to be quiet. The guard then went away, but the people began to make a noise again. The guard returned and told them to leave the box. Monsieur Moncharmin and Monsieur Richard decided to investigate. They called the guard into their office.
What happened last night in Box 5?
They asked.
It was nothing,
The guard said.
The people there behaved badly from the start. They went into the box, and then they came out again. They said that they had heard a voice saying, "The box is taken." We looked inside, but there was no one there. Then they went back in, and they started making a noise.
What did the boxkeeper say?
The managers asked. The guard smiled.
She said, "It was the opera ghost."
Bring the boxkeeper here immediately.
Monsieur Richard ordered.
This joke about the ghost is beginning to irritate me.
A few minutes later, the boxkeeper came in. This was Meg's mother. She smiled in a friendly way when she entered the manager's office.
I'm happy you asked to see me, gentlemen,
She said.
I can explain everything about the ghost.
Never mind the ghost.
Monsieur Richard said impatiently.
We want to talk to you about what happened last night in Box 5.
It was the ghost, sir.
The boxkeeper said quietly.
He was angry again, you see.
Monsieur Moncharmin now interrupted the conversation. Have you ever talked to the ghost? He asked with a smile.
Of course I have, sir.
The boxkeeper replied. When he speaks to you, what does he say? Monsieur Moncharmin asked.
He asks for a footstool.
The woman said quietly. The managers laughed loudly. The idea of a ghost who wanted a footstool was ridiculous.
Then, you see, he always leaves me some money when he goes. Sometimes 2 francs, sometimes 5 or even 10 francs. Sometimes he leaves me chocolates too.
The boxkeeper said with a smile.
He's very kind, really.
The managers listened to the boxkeeper for a little longer. When they were alone again, they made 2 decisions. First, they decided to sack the boxkeeper, who was obviously mad. Second, they decided to investigate Box 5 for themselves. Chapter 4. Christine Day did not appear in public for some time after the gala performance. She seemed to disappear completely. The young Vicomte de Chagny wrote to her, asking if he could come to see her. He received no reply to his letter. And then, one day, a letter came to his house.
Monsieur, I have not forgotten the little boy who went into the sea for my scarf. I am going into the country tomorrow to see my father's grave. He is buried where we played when we were children.
Raoul decided to follow Christine to her father's grave. It was a long train journey into the country, and he passed the time remembering his childhood. He remembered Mr. Day and Christine. Mr. Day, who came from Sweden, had been a very good musician, a violinist. He lived for his music, and he taught Christine to sing. The father and daughter went from village to village, playing for people. One day, Raoul heard them play. He saw Christine and fell in love with her immediately. He followed them, and Christine stopped near the sea. The wind blew suddenly, and her scarf was carried away by the waves. Raoul went into the water and brought it back to her. They had been friends from that day onwards. Mr. Day liked Raoul, and he taught him to play the violin. The old man told them stories and legends. Many of the stories he told them were about ghosts. One of them was about the angel of music. No one can play or sing well, Mr. Day told them, unless they hear the angel of music. No one had ever seen the angel, he explained. It is only possible to hear him.
Have you ever heard the angel of music, Father?
Christine asked. The old man smiled sadly and shook his head. Then he looked at his daughter.
But you will hear him,
he promised her.
I'll send him to you when I'm in heaven.
The years went by. When Mr. Day died, Christine's lovely singing voice disappeared. Raoul became a man. He never forgot Christine, but he knew that he could never marry her. He was an aristocrat, and she was a singer. Then, one day, he had seen her at the opera, and all his old love for her returned. After this, he started going to the opera more often. It was dark when Raoul arrived at the little village in the country. He went to the inn immediately. Christine was waiting for him.
I'm happy you've come,
she said.
Why did you pretend that you didn't know me when I came to your dressing room?
Raoul asked.
Why did you laugh when I mentioned your scarf?
Christine was silent.
I know why,
Raoul cried angrily.
There was someone else in the room that evening, wasn't there? There was a man. I heard his voice.
Christine gave Raoul a strange look. She seemed to be afraid. Then she took hold of his arm excitedly.
What do you mean?
She asked.
I heard you talking,
Raoul replied.
I heard you tell him, I only sing for you, you know that. Then you told him, I gave you my soul tonight.
What else did you hear?
Christine asked urgently.
He told you, you must love me. Who is he, Christine? Who is this man that you love so much?
Go on,
Christine cried.
What else did he say? Tell me everything.
He said, the angels wept to hear you sing this evening. I heard him say that. Tell me who he is.
Suddenly, Christine's eyes filled with tears. She held tightly onto Raoul for a moment, then she turned to him very seriously.
It's the angel of music,
she said solemnly.
That's the voice you heard in my dressing room.
Raoul did not know what to say. Then Christine continued,
He has come to me for 3 months now. He gives me singing lessons. He's a wonderful teacher.
It's true that Christine sings much better now.
Raoul thought.
She sings wonderfully, and she never did before. But I don't believe in the angel of music. It's too incredible.
Late that night, Raoul saw Christine leave the little village inn. He followed her in the darkness. She walked to the churchyard where her father's grave was. She knelt by the grave and began to pray. Raoul could hear music playing. It seemed to be coming from the sky. The music was from the resurrection of Lazarus. It had been Mr. Dailly's favourite piece of music. Raoul listened in amazement to the beautiful music. He moved forward to see who was playing. Suddenly, there was a noise, and some skulls came rolling across the ground towards him. He looked up and saw a figure in front of him in the darkness, a figure wearing a long cloak. Raoul took hold of the cloak, and the figure turned to face him. Raoul stared in horror. He was looking at a skull with terrible eyes. He fainted and fell to the ground. He woke up in the churchyard the next morning. Chapter 5. Monsieur Richard and Monsieur Moncharmin continued to manage the opera house. They investigated box 5, but there was nothing unusual in it. They began to think the story of the ghost was finished. Then, one day, they received another letter in the same handwriting.
Gentlemen, do you want a war between us? If you want peace, you must meet the following conditions. 1. Give back box 5. 2. Christine Dailly must sing the role of Margarita tonight. 3. My box keeper must return to work. 4. You must pay me my money every month. If you do not do these things, I will put a curse on tonight's performance of Faust.
I'm sick of this ghost,
exclaimed Monsieur Richard impatiently. There were other problems as well. The head groom of the opera came to make a report. "Someone has stolen one of the horses," he said. "I think it was the ghost."
Ghost?
Cried Monsieur Richard.
Why do you think the ghost took the horse?
"I saw a dark figure riding the horse away in the darkness. I'm sure it was the ghost." While the managers were considering the mystery of the stolen horse, one of the opera's singers was reading a strange letter written in red ink.
Dear Carlotta, if you sing at tonight's performance of Faust, there will be a tragedy. It will be worse than death.
Carlotta read the letter thoughtfully. She knew that if she did not sing that night, Christine would sing in her place, and she was jealous of Christine. The letter made her nervous, but she was determined to sing at the performance of Faust. The opera house was crowded for the performance. The two managers waited for the performance to begin. They were sitting comfortably in box 5. Carlotta was still a little nervous, but she began to sing as usual. She received a lot of applause. Soon, she forgot the mysterious letter. She gave all her thought to her singing. Suddenly, in the middle of a difficult passage, Carlotta's voice changed. She sounded exactly like a frog croaking. She was astonished at the noise she had made, and she stood in horror on the stage. The audience, too, was shocked. There was a terrible, stunned silence in the huge auditorium. Everyone felt that some kind of terrible magic was responsible for the incident. There was fear in the opera house audience. The two managers in box 5 sat perfectly still. They were very pale, and they looked terrified. They could hear the ghost breathing behind their chairs, and they did not dare to move. Then Monsieur Richard recovered his courage.
Go on,
He cried to the unfortunate Carlotta.
go on, try again.
The poor singer took a deep breath and tried to sing again. She sang half a line, but then the terrible noise came from her again. The managers were in despair. Then the breathing behind them changed, and they heard a voice whisper,
She will make the chandelier fall down with her singing.
Monsieur Richard and Monsieur Moncharmin looked up at the great chandelier in horror. The huge chandelier began to fall, slowly at first. Then it crashed into the audience. There were screams of terror, and the crowd ran away from the opera house. A woman was killed that night.